Hey guys, this is Nick from th9, and we are going to review one more attack. We're going to look at this under the 3-star conversion section by Chirpland. He is one of our best players. He's a th9, and let's see what he's going to do against this sucker. So this base did get 3-starred by another one of our th9s a little later on. And let's take a peek real quick. So Chirp was the first one to attack this base. So we haven't really had a chance to see exactly where the traps are at this point. However, we do know that people generally like to try to put their Teslas towards the center. And there are really only 4 spots, so we can guess that that's where the Teslas are going to be. So we can expect Tesla here, Tesla here, Tesla here, and Tesla here. So right off the bat, that makes our life kind of difficult, especially if, as ends up in Chirp's attack, if the P.E.K.K.A come in here, are just destroying buildings, and then are just annihilated from all sides with Teslas. Another thing that I think happened to Chirp here is it looks like he was originally intending to come in from this way. However, his wall breakers eventually opened up a section here, and then his golems cleaned up these guys. So all of a sudden, all of his golems just rerouted themselves and went in through here. And I think that messed up with how he was going to funnel his P.E.K.K.A.s, because I'm pretty sure he was planning on having his P.E.K.K.A.s come in from the side where his troops were originally going to be going. So those are things that made this map a little bit difficult for Chirp. And in addition, he didn't have his Archer Queen up. So the Archer Queen was actually really big in Tomp's 3-star in this sucker. So, that's not things he could have controlled. So stuff I might have would have changed a little bit. Potentially in the heat of battle, he didn't really get a good funnel going for his P.E.K.K.A.s. So instead of having his P.E.K.K.A.s going straight this way, or once the golems rerouted, going straight this way, he let his wizards clean up all the buildings here and over here. And then the wizards cleaned up all the ones up here on top, and then the golems went through and cleaned up all of these suckers. So by the time he released his P.E.K.K.A.s, there were no breadcrumbs for them to follow into the core. So they just went on a shopping trip around the outside. They eventually tried to make it into the core, but by that point, I believe a lot of their supporting wizards had been killed off, and so they weren't really going to be able to go anywhere. So things I would have changed about this attack, maybe tried to funnel it a little bit better, although, again, this base made him have to change attack mid-course. And also, I would have planned on those Teslas being problematic for the P.E.K.K.A.s. So instead of doing a straight attack where we're getting a lot of our firepower from the P.E.K.K.A.s, I might have tried to use witches, maybe asked for 2 max witches in the CC, because he's already got pretty beastly golems, and then maybe gone in with only 2 P.E.K.K.A.s instead of 3. So let's see what ends up happening for Chirp here. So he triggers a giant bomb, that's good, and it looks like he's letting his golems get in there, and I think he's just trying to trigger the CC castle before dropping his wizards. Wizards start to come in. Again, if I was him and I was trying to shape it so that my P.E.K.K.A.s would go in this way, I wouldn't have dropped the wizards in a line here. I would have dropped some over here, because they're protected by the golems against these guys, and then I would have... These units aren't engaged, otherwise I would have dropped them a little closer over here. In general, though, these really high hit point buildings make funneling difficult, because all of the breadcrumb buildings, which would draw his P.E.K.K.A.s in, are really low HP, and all the buildings that he needs to destroy to get the funnel going are very high HP. So that's just a rough spot to do good funneling from. It might have been easier to come in from another side. Maybe if he had come in from this direction. There aren't really too many awful buildings for his wizards to clear out to get a nice funnel going to get everybody going into the core. So maybe coming in from the top, and that would have taken care of that pesky archer queen. Or even, from this side, because you could have taken out these units, and then you would have had fairly high hit point breadcrumb buildings to pull his P.E.K.K.A.s in. And that would have made it really easy to lure the clan castle too. So those approaches might have been a little easier to funnel in from. Let's keep going. And so he's sending in the wall breakers there to get through the first outer layer. And wall breakers do a good job. Dragons up. And here is almost where his attack needs to change, because it looks like he did try to get rid of these buildings up top here with the wizards, but they get killed off because their defense is going this way and then about to rout in. So at this point he has to do some fast thinking. Where is he going to drop his troops? So this might have been a potential place to try to drop P.E.K.K.A.s. Like immediately, if he saw, this wall breaker died, so all of my golems are going to try to walk around this way. That might have been a good time to do it. He's done a good job of not dropping all of his wizards quite yet, because he wants to wait to see how they shape up and get them behind some tanks. So let's keep watching what he does. Dragons attacking the golem. The golem splits off, and let's see, he drops a heal spell. Okay. So he still has not dropped the P.E.K.K.A.s, and here is the state of affairs. We have one building here that's about to die. So I don't see an awful lot of options for his P.E.K.K.A.s right now. Because those golems are going to go in, they're going to clear out these two buildings, and so there is absolutely nothing to draw his P.E.K.K.A.s in towards the core right there. So I suppose he could have tried to set up a secondary funnel at this point. Would have been a little hard because he's running a little low on wizards, but he could have just dropped the P.E.K.K.A.s here, as I believe he does, and then try to use a couple wizards to get rid of these buildings. And then hopefully the P.E.K.K.A. would have gone for this collector, killed it off, and then penetrated to the inside instead of going chopping a little further. So let's keep watching what ends up happening. The golems go in, golems penetrate, wizards set off a giant bomb. So he drops the P.E.K.K.A.s, he's trying to get him to go into the middle, but they don't listen, and actually his wizards have gone ahead and destroyed that collector before that storage before the P.E.K.K.A. could even get there. So at this point, there's not really anything that's going to stop the P.E.K.K.A.s from going around. They'll destroy all of these buildings here, and then they'll probably get lazy and penetrate into the wall instead of going around. So meanwhile, those Teslas have popped up, mean guys. And this is where I'm thinking that it might have been a good idea to put some witches in that clan castle instead. Because that way we won't have that weakness of the P.E.K.K.A., especially since the P.E.K.K.A. are going to do the exact same thing that these golems do here. They're going to go in, they're going to break through this wall, and they're going to keep going. And there is absolutely nothing to stop the P.E.K.K.A. from just going all the way through. There are tons and tons of buildings. Just keep luring him on, and so those Teslas are going to shred his troops. So he's still keeping some units in his pocket. he's still got the Barbarian King, one Wizard, and one Archer. It's going to be rough to clean up for him, but all right. So his golems do manage to destroy one of the Teslas there, and as you can see, his P.E.K.K.A go in and start going at it. And so right now the P.E.K.K.A are in pretty good shape. Now he's got some solid ones. One of them's almost halfway down, but the other two are at max health. So this looks to be a pretty good attack right now. Like he's in good standing. But you see he's used up all of his wizards, so there's no way he's going to be able to take care of all these trash buildings. And he just dropped his Barbarian King, which will be helpful in getting that second star. But yeah, Tesla comes out. Tesla takes out one of those P.E.K.K.A. Then we start getting the Tesla and this Expo going to work. P.E.K.K.A managed to take out one of them, but dang, the other P.E.K.K.A, the Tesla pops up. So there is just nothing those P.E.K.K.A can do to survive. The golems are still down here on the bottom. And he did manage to get a 2-star, but Chirp's a really good player. I think that he had some bad luck here with his breadcrumbs getting destroyed and his golems going away he wasn't expecting. But yeah, in general, maybe getting some witches, maybe picking a different attack point where the funneling was a little easier would have helped him to do a little better against this base. But nice job, Chirp. And this is a pretty attack.